Hi everyone. So today I have here Mr. James Fan, the founding president of the CCCA. Along with us today we have the senior advisor to the royal government of Cambodia, Dr. Siphana.
Thank you, Siphana, Doctor.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very happy to see you and interview you. Many of our, our association members, they want to know what's the benefits, or for example, tax and the policy Cambodia government give to the foreigner investor.
Well, Cambodia is quite a very open economy, and I would say going way back to 20 years ago when we joined the WTO, we opened up all our sector.
Yeah.
This is the first important thing, is that all sector are open for foreign investment.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with the exception that you have to have a Cambodian citizen to own land, but that is the only exception. The rest, you can do any business. You can be 100% owned.
Yeah.
You can control your own financial destiny. Basically, the society is very open. The economy is fully open. And to entice investor to come to Cambodia, Cambodia have a very liberal investment law.
Yeah.
And we have now, last year, we just amended the law and we introduced a new investment law providing all sort of incentive, fiscal and non-fiscal. When you import good, for your production, you don't pay duties. They have a tax break for 9 years. So there's a lot of this sort of incentive that investor could take advantage of it. And of course, I can, at some point, I can give all the detail that. But all I'm saying is that, investors are very welcome to Cambodia. It's a small country, of course, and everybody knows everybody. And it's very easy because you can have access to the government. You have issue, you can deal with the government. You have problem, you can deal with the government. And this is probably one of the most, I would say, distinguished feature of a small country, is that access.
Good.
Access to the policy maker, access to the decision maker, and a lot of opportunity in terms of, opening business. Bear in mind, Cambodia is a young country because, not long ago we had war. And after the peace process about 30 years ago, Cambodia rebuilt the economy. So a lot of opportunity that you see in Hong Kong 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you can say, hey, now Cambodia, I can do the same thing. I remember my father 30 years ago in Hong Kong, he saw this small opportunity. Now it's untouchable in Hong Kong. But in Cambodia, it's still the opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
So this is probably one way to entice Hong Kong people to be imaginative.
Right.
Imaginative. Because I keep telling my son, I say, Cambodia will have another 10 good years of opportunity, maybe for you also. But for my time, I can see a lot of opportunity because we start from scratch. Hotel, what do you want to do? Restaurant, what do you want to do? You name it. So I want Hong Kong people to start, be creative.
Yeah.
What you want to do in Hong Kong, it's too late. It's 30 years ago already.
Right.
Now you can start in Cambodia.
Yeah. Because some of my friends, they set up the business here, restaurant or some snack shops, and do very good. Because as you said, Hong Kong, or frankly, some of the opportunities gone, maybe not that much. But here,
Yes.
yeah,
It's
lots
wide
of
open.
right,
Wide open.
right. And I think I find that the past 10 years, the economy is very good in Cambodia. Every year, almost 7%
20 years,
growth.
for 20 years.
20 years. So how about the next 10 years? What do you think?
I think the next 10 years will be very important for investor because this year we have a major game-changing trade agreement. We call the ASEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. This agreement is 15 countries, 10 ASEAN countries, plus China, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. This agreement will enable companies who come to Cambodia, unfortunately Hong Kong is not part of the ASEP, okay? But Hong Kong company could come to Cambodia, establish as a Cambodian company, and re-export to China, to Japan, to Australia as a ASEP product.
Yeah.
So you come, you set up a manufacturing plant, you source your raw material. As long as you can provide that 40% of your raw material, of the final product is coming from these 15 countries, you can export to all these 15 countries. And bear in mind, ASEAN is 600 million people.
Yes.
Not talking about China, not talking about Japan, but it's a 33% of the whole world market.
Yes.
So it's a very, very robust
Very
sort
robust.
of market space here, I would say.
Yes, and the thing is that under this new trade agreement is one single rule. Is that before, if I want to set up a company and export to Japan, I have to use one form. If I want to export to China, I use another form. It's messy for SME.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, if you're an SME, you can still do it because you don't need to be a big firm, hire a big team, a lawyer. No, you don't need it. It's one single form. You can export to all these 15 countries. And that's a game-changing aspect
Yes.
for Cambodia. Yeah.
So it's extremely simplified in a way where it actually encourages the flow of the process of movement of goods.
Yes.
Right?
To be part of the supply chain.
Yeah.
I take, for example, Cambodia have about 700,000 of rubber plantation.
Oh.
Okay, you make tie, right? You know,
Yeah.
so you figure out if a company come use the raw material, the latex, to make a car part, because car is mostly rubber, right? They can certainly export all that to anywhere in this 15 country, and yet they're using a local material, local material. So this is one of the example, right?
Right.
Agriculture product. You know, we export banana, we export mango, rice. So they could come and process. With the right technology, you can make fruit juice, for example. There are so much mango in Cambodia, so much watermelon. You can make all this for export. Raw material is here.
So, most companies nowadays, they're really focused on ESG
Yes.
and the movement. I believe from what you're saying then, it means that it is much easier for businesses or investors to come here and actually close a sustainable or circular loop,
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
Okay, that
ESG is the
amazing.
future. ESG is the future because you, number one, you work directly with the farmer. It couldn't be more direct than that, right?
Right.
You're buying the mango from the farmer. I mean,
yeah.
how much more sustainable can it be, right? So that's the angle. But then what you do, you value addition with the right technology. You care about the climate change. You produce something that is climate resilient. And then you have a product that you can export.
And it will be fully ethical as well.
Yes,
because
indeed.
It's in the circular loop. right?
Indeed,
Right.
yeah.
And also the tax is very low
Yes.
to export, and also not only the outside countries, but also I think the goods export to US and Europe also very low tax, right?
Yes, indeed, duty, low duty.
Low duty,
ASEP is only for these 15 Asian countries.
Yeah, right.
But then we still have very good market access to European Union and to the US
Yes.
for apparel good, for travel good, that sort of thing, yeah.
So there's such a huge variety of industries and businesses that us foreign investors can invest in. Out of all of the industries, which, let's say, top 5 would you really recommend for foreign investors such as ourselves to really keep an eye onto?
Okay, so Cambodia, the labor force is still, I would say, cheap.
Yep.
Not as cheap as before,
Not high.
but it's not high. Yeah. So you want to move to something that employ a lot of people, right? So footwear, garment, these are the traditional industry that kept Cambodia economy, on a high growth for the last 20 years. Okay?
Right.
So we don't have to move into this area. Of course, if you want to move in, there's plenty of experience, people who are in the industry, they could guide you very easily in this field. I want to talk to something that is a bit non-traditional. The non-traditional is more agriculture. Because before you manufacture footwear to export to Europe, for example, but it does not use the local material, doesn't the local resource. So I suggest you think of something where you can process agriculture product. Say, for example, rubber is a good example. Cassava, you process into sort of like modified starch, for example. These are all areas that you touch the heart of the local farming community, and you will make a great impact on ESG.
Yes.
Definitely, great impact on that. Yeah.
Good. That's good. How about the technology industry? What is in the status in Cambodia?
Yes.
For example, because I know many countries they don't allow the cryptocurrency. How is the government?
Okay, so in the IT, in the ICT industry, it's wide open, and bear in mind, Cambodia workforce is very young.
Yeah.
You notice average mid-20, at the oldest high 20. So they're very young, meaning tech savvy. I think they are born with an iPhone and an iPad in hand, okay? So they're there. For them, all this technology is part of their life. They do coding, they do software engineering, app engineering, that sort of thing. You can move into outsourcing business because they speak English. Cambodia in the Mekong region, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, the level of Cambodian English is very high. High because we're a small country, so we have to deal with foreigners, and therefore we have to speak English. You know, you go to Thailand, they don't need to speak English because there's 1 million people going to the mall every day. But here, we need foreigners. So by default, we speak English, we're tech savvy, and this is an area that you can move into technology, you can move to software engineering, that sort of thing, and to provide, good employment for sure, but also opportunity to embrace the fourth industrial revolution. You can embrace that. Fourth industrial revolution is the future.
So with that coming in, would you also say that this will also transcend into the growth of, for example, the energy market and as well as the telecommunication market? In my opinion, I find that very unique because in many other countries, you are not in a position to compete in these kind of industries anymore. Whereas in Cambodia, what you can see is that there is a future trajectory that slowly and stably increases throughout the past, let's say, 10 years or so. With this in mind and how tech savvy the citizens are in Cambodia, would you say that the return of investment for foreigners investing in these kind of technologies and energy will be much higher compared to other countries or regions in Southeast Asia?
Renewable energy is the future. It's quite clear. With climate change, disaster everywhere, renewable energy is on track. And it's quite interesting because it's only in recent years that we start to adopt the solar panel. So we have solar farm. We have massive solar farm in the countryside. So it's on already. So 4 years ago, maybe we don't have a clear policy to way forward, but now it is. We have approved and they have built big 200 or 300 hectare solar farm already. And in many areas, solar energy is part of it, right? So this is something you can tap, you can explore, okay? Aside from the fossil fuel, which, no choice. You still have to have some of this fossil fuel. But again, we move to renewable energy. And this is something that I think is a wide open market for investors to move into the solar energy. Yeah.
But by my understanding, there is also reserves of oil and such kind of products in Cambodia currently, right? Do you think this will impact the economy a lot?
Well, all we have explored already, but and it's not yet commercially viable. So it's on the back burner now. Yeah, because there's a company drilling, and then they find that it's the way the oil strata in the underground is not in one place, so it costs more money to exploit. So I think it'll be on the back burner, right?
So the best thing to do is really to invest in more clean and sustainable
Yes.
Energy solutions.
And clean and environmental friendly, and it's faster. Because if you move into building a power plant, it's a lot of money,
Yeah.
and takes a long time to recover your return also. But you move to renewable solar panel, in a year's time you get the money back, something like that. Yeah.
How about the property market? What do you think?
Property, I would say right now it's a bit, we're sort of reaching a point of a rate of diminishing return a bit, because we build a lot.
Yeah.
So the supply is there. So we need a rebound in the post COVID recovery.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's because of the COVID. I mean, let's face it, it is COVID-driven issue. When we pass this COVID issue, when the economy is on recovery, the market will bounce back, right? So it is a sort of like temporary setback. Like any economy, is always some setback in there. And I think that when we overcome the economic recovery, when tourism start to come back, when China allow the tourists to fly back to Cambodia, the market will rebound. Yeah.
Would you suggest that the market will take a more aggressive approach in terms of the acquisition of properties and development?
Yeah, I would say it's always crisis opportunity.
Yeah.
It's always crisis opportunity. Now with this market, it's a buyer market.
Yeah.
At some point it was a seller market. And that's how the market go. So to me, I'm not worried about it, because Cambodia is a young economy.
Yeah.
It's a rising economy with young population. So the amount of real estate that has been built, I take for example, how many young graduate students will get married, start a household, start a family, and guess what? They will buy a home.
Yeah, for sure.
And with most of the working people are in the mid-20s. So there the market for condominium, for small unit is there. Is there.
But do you agree that it's mostly concentrated in PP area?
Phnom Penh area.
Yeah.
Well, it always starts with the capital. But if you drive to the countryside, you see everywhere is always economic activity.
Yeah.
Everywhere. The construction industry is booming.
Yes.
It means what? It means the economy enable prosperity of the local people. So maybe not at the same level. There's some rich people, of course, but there's also not so rich people. But there's always something for everybody.
So the opportunities are very abundant.
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Yeah.
That we can very much see. That's why CCCA
Yes.
Yeah.
really decided to head towards this direction.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we can clearly see that.
Yes.
Yes.
So another thing that I want to say is that here, this economy is private sector driven.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
private sector driven. It's not government driven. It's not government who set the policy.
Right.
It is people like Benton who see, I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go. And then he just do it.
Yeah.
The government, okay, you make sure you pay tax,
Right.
and that's it. You pay tax, you do whatever.
Right.
So I see the future is for innovative people who dare take some risk a bit, Of course, if they come to Cambodia, it's a new country, you got to be willing to take some risk.
Right.
But then again, you have a big population of Hong Kong people already here. They can guide you. They can guide you what not to do, where to do. These are the opportunity. Stay away from that, whatever. So I'm quite comfortable.
Good.
With the prospect of Cambodia having opportunity for Hong Kong
The
people.
policies are really well tailored as well towards foreigners and investments in general. So I believe that is actually a very, very good job done by the Cambodian government themselves.
Right.
As well.
I think so.
The Cambodian people, if you notice, you hang around in Phnom Penh, we're carefree, I look at you as Cambodian as me, you as Cambodian as me. Who care? Let's drink beer. Let's talk about business. We are not like in some country where there are issues. Here we're very, I would say, easygoing.
Yes.
Very easygoing. So I think
Very nice.
when they set up a business here, they mind the business. The other people mind the business. Yeah.
So do you think the future policies regarding investments and trading will be even more tailored towards this kind of investment activities by the foreigners? Do you foresee that in future policies, or do you think this is already a set foundation that we have with the current policies?
The future policy is already been set last year. When we amend the investment law, because way back in 1994, we have a first investment law. Then the economy changed, we amend in 2003. But last year we decided that we're gonna introduce a new law, abolish the old law, because the new law will reflect the emerging business opportunity like activity in fourth industrial revolution. So we will give all sort of incentive that. We identify most of people that come to Cambodia will not big multinational, but SME. We adjust the policy to support SME, for example. We see opportunity a lot in agriculture. We give incentive to agriculture. So we have 20 sectors that we identify for investment incentive. 20 sectors.
That's very inclusive.
Yes, very inclusive. And all these sectors are reflecting what are the emerging trends in the economy, in the Cambodian economy, in the context of a global supply chain. That's it. It's already there. Yeah, and I will send you my analysis on the investment law, which
that will be great.
yes, because as a law firm, I've done some good analysis. I will send to you, and you will see what are the tax incentive we give, what are the non-tax incentive we give, what are the custom duty that they don't charge when you import good. Very detailed. Right? Sorry, I cannot tell you everything, but I will send you the detail on that.
Yeah. I think that's a very good information for our members, how they plan their investment here. So thank you for your supporting our CCCA. Do you have any one more things to say to them?
I want to say welcome to Cambodia.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.